It all started probably with my grandfather. Back in the late 70s, he started implementing conservation practices on his own farm. He was the first farmer in Bureau County to implement no-till farming. And that really came from his own observation of what was happening in the field. And so he started looking for other ways to farm, basically. And when I came back, we started implementing different strategies, and now we're looking at installing these bioreactors.
So we have quite a few options that farmers can choose from, that sort of toolbox of practices to be able to implement in their field to reduce nutrient loss. It ranges from things they can do in the field, the 4 R's, planting cover crops, changing tillage practices, thinking about things like soil testing where maybe they haven't before, and then these edge of field practices. We are lucky to have partners like LICA that have a membership made of contractors who do this every day. We have several of our farmers that are also contractors that make that connection very easily.
We're a not-for-profit trade association. We're a national trade association. It's been around for over 75 years. And our membership's really a mix of contractors that are dedicated to the professional conservation of our natural resources. We've installed a wood chip bioreactor. It's about a 12-foot by 50-foot pit, essentially lined with plastic and filled with wood chips, that we've installed to remove nutrients from the tile drain system. So this particular site, I think, is really just the perfect site. You know, you have kind of a non-cropped area that you can really take advantage of some of these edge of field practices to help Illinois reach our nutrient loss reduction goals.
You know, I think it's really exciting to see people start to shift from just thinking about in-field opportunities to these edge of field. And we have the ability to work with the scientists in our state to figure out how to do it even better.
Well, it's fantastic that Michael, the farmer, has a mind for water quality. He's been monitoring the water quality coming through his tile drains for several years, and so we have essentially some baseline data to know how much nitrate is in his tile drainage water and how that water is moving from the field. And so that puts us a little bit ahead when we put this bioreactor in, because we already know a little bit about how the tile drainage system here is performing and what's a normal nitrate concentration in that water.
My role in the partnership is to provide the technical assistance to plan and design the denitrifying bioreactor that goes out on the ground. Make sure that it will do the job that it's intended to do. We take the information from the researchers, we put those pieces of information, great information, into conservation practice standards, guidance, design tools, and then we take that information and tailor it for everybody's particular site.
Currently with our water testing program, we test once a week, mainly out of field tile, and we've got a group of 26 growers that are participating throughout the county with our water testing program. The bioreactor it's a great concept. It's actually on a site where we're actually testing the water coming into the bioreactor, and we'll also be testing water coming out of it.
And so with our research here, we're pulling data from the bioreactor to make sure that that design standard is as good as it should be. So by monitoring this bioreactor, which was designed to that standard, we'll be able to know, should we tweak the standard in small ways to make bioreactors be designed better to work even better.
The more that we can do these kind of field days and connect PhD researchers with farmers standing around a pit where the contractors are also there and the federal government that just happens to have cost share on these practices, I think we're going to see this just multiply across the state. And that's really the ultimate goal, is having more of these practices adopted on more acres across the state.
I think it's that holistic approach, if you will. Management obviously is key and can provide a lot of return on investment, but these are equally important in terms of really treatment of our subsurface tile drainage. It plays a valuable role, and it definitely has a place at the table.
Before moving to Illinois, I didn't realize what a strong partner in conservation that Farm Bureau could be. And since moving here, it's been such a pleasure to work with Illinois Farm Bureau and many of the county offices. This is where conservation happens, on the ground. A single Farm Bureau member deciding one day that I want to do something for water quality, and then Farm Bureau is there with partners to support them in that and make that happen.
As we move into this, to implementing a lot of these practices out on the ground, NRCS provides financial assistance for people to do that. We're essentially saying, hey, if you'll let us be out there on the ground, we'll provide some dollars.
The most exciting thing that I saw out here today in Bureau County at this particular field day on the Ganchow farm was really the culmination of all of these things that are happening. A lot of it happens at the local level. It all came very organically, and it all came from a desire from the farmer perspective to know more and to do more and to be engaged in the issue.
But I've also learned through my grandfather and my father that if you want something to work on your farm, that you'll find a way to implement it. So you got to go in with that mentality, saying to yourself that this makes a difference, and I want it to make it work on my own farm.